what the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent and Merciful, Soul Master's Day, Gentlemen, in which we now live. The alone do we serve, and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is heard to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. We'd like to acknowledge the brothers and sisters that extended us the greetings of Assalamu alaikum. We have Brother Mustafa and Sister Sharice Ali from Ohio. And we have Brother Jeffrey Shabazz from North Carolina. I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Today we'd like to talk about destruction of America justified. Now, the first thing we want to look at in this title is the word justified. That's what the black man really needs to understand about the things that's happening in America today. It's all justified. What does justified mean? It says to prove or show something to be just, right, or reasonable. That's what justified means. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the destruction of America justified. Now let's read a part in this article, because the messenger had in this one article, it was like two articles. So we're going to read this part, the last part of his article, which says, I warn every one of you, my people, fly to Allah with me, forsake her and fly to your own before it is too late. The messenger says, we cannot deny the fact that the Christian West is responsible for this universal corruption in the land and sea. From the same corruption that their own hands have wrought, will come their doom. So the first thing he said is we cannot deny the fact that the Christian West is responsible for this universal corruption. Not just the corruption that's in America. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that this devil in the West is responsible for this universal corruption, because he taught us that this is a universal war. So the white man is responsible for this universal corruption, and by this same corruption that the white man starts himself will be the same corruption that will destroy him. Yes, sir. So let's give an example of this corruption that was wrought by the white man's hands. This comes from the Washington Post, July 31st, 2023. It says, it's not just hot. Climate anomalies are emerging around the globe. This is all that the white man's own hands have wrought.
Yes, sir.
This is things that their way of life has produced for themselves. It says July was packed with weather anomalies, but some were so abnormal, they sent a wave of consternation through the scientific community. And this was a part of the article that I thought was real interesting. It says protracted heat waves that enveloped parts of North America and Europe during July would have been virtually impossible without the fingerprint of climate change, researchers found. So a lot of this stuff that's going on today is stuff that's seen before as being impossible to happen. All of this record heat, all of this, they just had in California a hurricane. When you ever heard, most of the time when you see hurricanes, it's on the East Coast or down south. Never have I heard in my life that a hurricane is developing on the West Coast. And they were saying that this hurricane is supposed to bring a year's worth of rain to California. So in this one, I think they said in 48 hours, parts of California are going to get a year's worth of rain. Because they said that in a year, because you know the song that says it never rains in Southern California. That's how it used to be. But they were saying that in a year in California, they get 2 inches of rain, 2 to 4 inches. So they said in 1 or 24 hours or 48 hours, they're going to get a year's worth of rain. So they're going to get about 2 to 4 inches of rain. They said in some places they might get 10 inches. Because to us, 2 inches of rain is not a lot of rain. But think about California. They get 2 inches of rain in a year. So now they're going to get that in 24. Think about all the mudslides, all the flooding. You know what I'm saying? It's going to happen in 24 hours or 48 hours. They're going to get a year's worth of rain. But this is all what the white man's hands have wrought for his own self. So let's go on even further. This is this transgender. This says Delaware senator who transformed Joe Biden's view of transgender rights. It says Sarah McBride, the nation's first transgender state senator, has been a major force in forging the president's worldview of LGBTQ rights. Once again, his own hands have wrought, because this is destroying the moral fabric that they did have in America. It just completely destroyed. Because the thing about this transgender stuff, I don't really look into this. I don't really research the transgender stuff. But every now and then when you see it, or when I'm confronted with it, like these pronouns they be talking about, them and they. Yes. That got to be, and this stuff is just the most dumbest that you ever heard. Like, why you can't just call a her and him a him? Nah, because of these transgender people. To show how dumb all of this because they want us to respect this nonsense. We have no respect for no transgender LGBTQ. Not in Islam. No, sir. The messenger told us that the white race will lead you only to filth and indecency. That's right. Never in the history of man have you had something called a transgender person. This is all the filth and indecency that the white man introduced to us, as the messenger says, to send us to hell with him. Because we live in a time Where you are almost with this transgender stuff, it's like you have to fight these people to be against them. They so aggressive with the filth. It's like they want to force the filth on us. Because if you really look at it, what can't they be talking about LGBTQ rights? What can an LGBT person do in America that everybody else can't do? They live their life like everybody else, but they want to promote filth and indecency to our children. So they want to have LGBTQ commercials, LGBTQ movies, and LGBTQ healthcare. Because even at my job, we have people who are like same-sex marriages. This is something that's, because I've never been on a job where the two same sexes is able to marry each other. That's kind of different. To be on the job and see two of the same sex people married to each other. But that's what you got to deal with being in the white man's world. The messenger taught us that one day we won't even be able to come out of our house. So this is what the white man, his own hands have wrought. And by this same filth, the white man will be destroyed. So in this article, the messenger goes on. He says, I warn every one of you, my people. He says, fly to Allah with me as I warn you. The judgment of this world has arrived. Get out of the church and get into the mosque and join on to your own kind, the nation of Islam. The house you are in shall surely fall and never rise again. Now this is the messenger with an urgent message for the black man. Because the thing about us today, we don't have the same urgency when we teach the teachings of the messenger. We don't tell black people that they should get out of a church. Because the messenger taught us what a church was. The white man's world is a church. If you're not in Islam, you in church. The messenger says the world is divided into two camps. Islam and Christianity. Yes, sir. So when the messenger told us about coming out of a church, he's not just talking about Sunday worship service. He's talking about the whole white man's world. Praise due to Allah. So when he's telling the black man to come out of church, you might have a black man that don't go to church, but he smokes cigarettes. If he smokes cigarettes, he going to church. If he drink alcohol, he going to church. If he fornicate, he going to church. If he do, he's a Christian. Oh, praise is due to Allah. He might think he a Muslim, but if you smoke cigarettes, you a Christian. If you lie, you a Christian. If you believe in a spook, you a Christian. If you go to the masjid, you a Christian. Because I saw the other day on YouTube, they got this Orthodox Muslim who talking about, they exposing the Nation of Islam. Because they say that we believe because we do believe. We believe God is a man. They don't believe that. But we don't teach the teachings of the messenger like he taught us to teach. When you listen to Muslims today talk about God coming into person, they say that God can manifest himself in anything. That's a lie. God is a man. He ain't a tree. He don't manifest himself in a tree. He don't manifest himself in a bird. The only place that a God is in a man. And the reason why the Arabs don't understand this, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. He said, we are the first people on the planet Earth to get this secret knowledge of God. They believe in a spook. Because the Arab Muslim, He said, well, if God can be a man, can God be a tree? God can't be a tree. When you look at the 99 attributes of Allah, every attribute is an attribute of a man.
Yes.
When you say Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, to be merciful is an attribute of a man.
Yes.
A tree can't be merciful to me and you. A dog cannot be merciful to me and you. The sun cannot be merciful to me and you. But a man can.
Yes.
A man who has power over the tree. A man who has power over the sun. A man who has power over all the creation can be merciful to me and you. But nothing in creation can be merciful to us. Nothing in creation is interested in man's affairs. The sun ain't interested in our affairs enough to be merciful. A dog is not interested in our affairs enough to be merciful. Nor is a tree, nor is plants, nor is vegetation, but a man is.
Yes.
A man is interested in man's affairs.
That's right.
So the messenger said, he said, for thousands of years, the people who did not have the knowledge of the person and reality of God worship their own ideas of God. That was the messenger.
Yes.
Because we don't believe in a spook. We believe that God came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, July 4th, 1930. Praise to Allah. He is the long-awaited Savior. And he was born February 26, 1877.
That's right.
So you might think, well, if he was born February 26, 1877, who was God before him? Where was God? Because most people ask the question about slavery. They say, how could God allow us to go into slavery? God wasn't born yet. The messenger taught us that Yakub is the God of this world.
Right.
Yakub was born, the messenger said, 30 miles outside of the holy city Mecca. He said that Yakub was a scientist, just like any other scientist that we know about. It ain't nothing spooky. Yakub was a scientist, a black scientist, the messenger said, who discovered that the black man had two people in him. Because the messenger said that Yakub was in the laboratory studying on the germ of the black man. That's when Yakub discovered that the black man has two people in him. One black and one brown. Simple and plain. Nothing spooky. So he said, Yakub, this black scientist, while he was studying on this germ, he looked and seen that we got two people in us. So the messenger said that Yakub said, if he could separate the brown germ from the black, then graft it into its last stage, which would be white, he could make a people to rule the black man.
That's right.
That's what the messenger said. So for 6,000 years, Yakub's man ruled the black man.
That's right.
Messenger said when Yakub's made man got to its last stage, which is white, he said it was no more original.
Right.
It was weak and wicked.
That's right.
Because when Yakub grafted the white man, he used what the messenger called the birth control law. And in the birth control law, you destroy all the black. That's how you get to the white man.
That's right.
So the messenger said, because Yakub's grafted death on the island of Pilan was made in the atmosphere of destroying the black, he said that was born into the nature of the white man.
That's it.
It was born into his nature to hate and to murder the black man. Yes. This was a scientist. A scientist, the messenger said nobody on earth had wisdom or was wiser than Yakub. So nobody could stop Yakub. Yakub was born with the determined idea, the messenger said. Born with the idea to make a people. But the messenger said he didn't discover this idea until he was 18 years old. The messenger said that Yakub, this black scientist who had been to all of the schools of the land, was sitting down playing with two pieces of steel. He said that these two pieces of steel had magnetic attraction. So he said that that's where Yakub discovered that the white race could attract the black man. This is all this science, this wise black scientist named Yakub. So this is the God, the messenger said, of the white race. Yakub. He said that Yakub taught the white race a science called trick knowledge.
That's right.
And that is the science of tricks and lies. Yes. That's how the white man rules us, through tricks and lies.
Teach, Brother Minister.
So the messenger said, this science of tricks and lies is so strong that they knew that it would take 6,000 years for one man to be born who was wiser than Yakub. In the Bible, they call it the Son of Man. Right. Messenger says God got many good names in the Bible. But he said all these good names is names of Master Farad Muhammad. So when Master Farad Muhammad was born, he was born to save the black man.
Yes.
That's what we need to tell these Arabs. Tell them just he was born to save us.
Yes.
He wasn't born to save you. Right. This knowledge that God gave, we the first people on earth to get this knowledge.
Yes.
Because the messenger said we are the ones who suffered the most. We the people who've been robbed of a knowledge. An Arab ain't been robbed of the knowledge of self. We've been robbed of a knowledge of self.
Yes.
So we supposed to be with these because the Arab Muslim, he was over in London. He was over in London with this brother who supposedly was in the Nation of Islam. Then he stopped being a member of the Nation of Islam because he said they believe that God came in the person of a man. We do. It makes perfect sense to us.
Right.
We can't make it make sense to you because you weren't robbed of a knowledge of self. So when Master Farad Muhammad came to us, July 4th, 1930, the black man was in a bad condition.
Yes.
So in 1931, Master Farad Muhammad met the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Yes. At that time, his name was Elijah Poole. Yes. The messenger said he was so far deep down in the mud that all you could see was his eyes. So our God, the divine supreme being, saw Elijah Muhammad. The messenger said, and this is one of my favorite stories, because can't nobody relate to that story but the black man. The messenger said that Master Farad Muhammad had a room full of his ministers. And he said, I want all of y'all to choose who y'all think should be my supreme minister. Because the messenger said he only had a 3rd grade education. He didn't know nothing. He was down in Sandersville, Georgia as a sharecropper. The messenger didn't know nothing. The messenger said, I was too dumb. He said, where you think I got all this? I was too dumb. So the messenger said that all of them start choosing who they thought should be the supreme minister. So the messenger said that Master Farad Muhammad, God in person, he said, now that all of y'all done chose, I'm about to choose. He said, I choose you, Elijah Kareem, the one with the 3rd grade education. I'm going to take one from the mud who don't know nothing and make him my supreme minister. The Messenger said I was his first 100% convert. 100%.
Yes, sir.
Messenger said when he saw Master Farad Muhammad, he said, you the one that the Bible talks about that is to come. So the messenger said that Master Farad Muhammad told him, who knows that but you? That's what we should tell these Arabs. Who knew that but you? These Arabs don't know it, but the messenger knew his condition and the condition of 50 million black people.
Right.
He said, you the one. Listening to what Master Farad Muhammad was saying to this death, this same death. I was looking yesterday. It's this place in Florida called Ocoee. I think that's the name of it. It's Ocoee. Ocoee. They was talking about, and this was the condition of the black man in America. They was talking about this brother's name was July Perry. He was a big time businessman in Florida, in this town. They say the black people in this town was doing good for themselves. They was doing something for self, as the white man says, pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. This is what they was doing. So they said that the white man who was the judge came to Perry like, yo, let's register some black people to vote. So brother July Perry was down, like, yeah, let's do that. From listening to what was going on, July wasn't afraid of the white man. Because they said that the Klan used to march down on downtown Ocoee, trying to intimidate the black man. But that didn't stop Brother July. In his mind, we registering the vote. So they say that on this day, I think it was November 3rd, 1920, they didn't want niggas to vote. So these white people came and destroyed this whole town of black people. They said it was 255 to 300 black people who lived in this city. They said from 1930 to 1970, not one black person lived in this city. The white man came, burned it down, murdered the people, and they even got articles in the newspaper. When all the black people had fled, they was talking about, we got these beautiful little orchards where the Negroes used to own that we selling. Beautiful orchards that we selling, that we taking from these niggas. Black people who was doing for self. Black people who was pulling themselves up by their bootstraps, like the white man said. So then after that, you had 3 years later, you had Rosewood, Florida, where they destroyed that whole town. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad knew the condition of the black man when he saw Master Farad Muhammad. Ain't no Arab or no Orthodox Muslim don't understand that. That's why God came to us. The messenger said we are the lost sheep. In the parable of the lost sheep, Jesus said, talking to shepherds, he said, which one of you who have 100 sheep and you lose one, you wouldn't leave the 99 to go find that one sheep? Then he said, when you find that one, you are more happy to find that one than you are with the 99 who never left.
Yes.
You more happy to find that one. We that one. We that people who was robbed and spoiled. And it took God to come and find us.
Yes.
So Arab don't understand that. Because we think as black people, we think they set the standards for Islam. But when you start to read the Holy Quran and you read the footnotes, all of that stuff is just interpretation like the Bible. It ain't no set understanding of the Quran. They got so many scholars with so many opinions and so many verses when black people be talking about. Because I listen to Bus Stop now. be talking about Orthodox. So what if the Orthodox Muslims don't accept us? So what? They got hundreds of thousands of scholars that interpret the Holy Quran. You got people who disagree on the Holy Quran today that's Orthodox Muslims. So when the messenger told us that God came in the person of a man, who cares if they don't understand? Right. Who cares if they don't believe? We believe. The messenger asked us the very valuable question. He said, who is the original man? Right. That's one of the most important questions you could ask a black man. That's the most important question you can ask one of these Orthodox. Who is the original man? Because an Arab can't say he an original man. The black man is an original man. And in the Holy Quran, it says that Islam is the nature that God created man. Islam is the nature of the righteous. So we've been Muslims for trillions of years. Yes. Before there was a such thing as a white Arab. Before there was a such thing as an Orthodox Muslim. The black man's nature is Islam. That's why the messenger told us to accept our own and be ourselves. Yes. Our own self is a righteous Muslim. Yes. That's what the messenger taught us. Because God came and taught him that. Because for 400 years, the white man taught us we was Negroes, niggas, and colored people. Orthodox Muslims, they can't understand that. They don't see it like we see it. The white man is so wise with trick knowledge. He can rob a people of their own language. He can rob you of the knowledge of your identity where you can look at your brother and don't even recognize him. You can look at your own people who come from Africa and don't even see them as your brother. That's the white man. That's why in the Bible it said, who can make war with the beast? The white man is not some ordinary enemy. He is an open adversary to the black man. That's right. And they asked the question, because all the prophets saw Elijah. So they letting us to know, who can make war with the beast? Which one of you Arabs can make war with the beast? Why are you talking all this talk? Why them white Christians come in Muslim countries and control these Arabs? Since they know who Allah is. Most of these Arabs come over here running from their country because the white man took it from them. That's right. And they come over here and see us as Muslims. And they get jealous of us. When I first became a Muslim, I'm going to keep it real, I was excited. I was real happy. I thought we all was Muslims. I thought we all was brothers. So I remember, I never forget, I was in Hamtramck at one of these fruit markets that was owned by some Arabs. I went in there, assalamu alaikum, and everybody. All Arabs, assalamu alaikum. Them Arabs looked at me like I wasn't saying nothing. I said, well, they don't never have to worry. I don't never give no Arab no greeting. I don't never give them no greeting. I don't never say nothing to them. I see them with it dressed up in their thing. I don't say nothing to them. I don't give them no greeting because this is the black man's religion. Right. When they come over here, they do this. This is a chore for them. They come over here changing their name to Sam and Larry and Bob. Right. And you a Muslim. Right. Come over here smoking. And you come from a Muslim country. So how Arab Muslim gonna tell us who God is? Right. They don't know nothing about no God. The messenger, God's messenger, came in the worst country in the world and said the whole white race is a race of devils. The messenger said God hates the devil. He hates the whole white race. Yes. This was our message. So you gonna tell us, Master Farah, where God at then? Because the messenger taught us that our problem is the hardest problem to solve than any other problem in the world. Our problem. He said our problem takes God to solve. He said the hardest problem is uniting the so-called American Negro. That's what he taught us. That's the hardest problem. But Master Farad Muhammad came. He united the black man.
Yes, he did.
We all was calling ourselves Negroes. We hated black. We hated everything that had to do with black. But God's messenger, he didn't state himself. Because the messenger said we ain't even worthy to be in his presence. So he said he came and raised up one from among the dead. So that's why in the Bible it say the messenger is the first begotten of the dead.
That's right.
We was a dead black man and woman until Master Farad Muhammad came.
Yes, sir.
So when he raised this message, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he started teaching in Black Bottom, Detroit. Because one of my favorite lectures to listen to of the messenger was when he came to Detroit in 1965. That's one of my favorites. Because when he first started off, he was talking about all the hell he caught when he first started teaching in Detroit. He said the first thing they used to do was go door to door. He said that was a slow process. Knocking on doors. He was talking about the meeting places was so shabby. He said he used to be ashamed to invite people to come. That's what he was saying in Detroit when he came in 1965. But to make a long story short, he said, but look at you now.
Yes.
You got all these thousands of black people coming to listen to that little man with the 3rd grade education.
Yes.
They had an article in the Los Angeles Times, I think it was May 1963. It says, when Elijah Muhammad speaks, 20 million Negroes in America listen.
That's right.
When Elijah Muhammad, not when no Arab speaks, not when no Orthodox, but when Elijah Muhammad speaks, 20 million Negroes in America listen. The messenger taught us that God is a black man. In the mouth of the lion, he stepped into the white man. Not only is he telling us that black is beautiful, he said God is a black man.
Yes.
The creator of the heavens and the earth is black. Not only is God a black man, but the maker of the white race is a black man.
That's right.
Messenger told us who made the white man. His name is Yakub. He told us where Yakub made. On the island of Pelan called Patmos in the Bible.
That's right.
The messenger told us how long it took to make the white race.
Yes.
He said it took 200 years to destroy the black to get a brown race. He said it took another 200 years to destroy the brown to get a yellow race. He said it took another 200 years to destroy the yellow to get the white race.
That's right, brother.
So he said it took 600 years
Yes.
on the island of Pelan to make the devil.
That's right.
So he told us how long the white man's world would last. He said it would last for 6,000 years. He said the white man's world was up in 1914. Then he went on to say, he said they could get an extension of time. He said, but the extension of time, I believe it's either 60 or 80 years. I can't remember which one. But the extension of time been up.
Yes.
So the messenger, when you get them old Muhammad Speaks newspapers, when you get that 1965 message to the black man, The messenger said on or by 1970, he said the destruction would come. So 1970 came. 1972 came. Ain't no destruction. So the messenger said, he said, just like with Jonah, he said God told Jonah that he was going to destroy the people of Nineveh in 40 days. The messenger said he didn't destroy them in 40 days. He said that was put there for me and you. Because Allah showed mercy to the black man. Because the messenger say he loves us. The messenger say he will destroy nations for us. Yes. For the black man. He said he gonna put us at the top of civilization. Yes. That's our God. Master Farad Muhammad. Messenger told us that in the Holy Quran. He said, I'm the Muhammad of the Holy Quran. Holy Quran ain't talking about Prophet Muhammad. It's talking about the message. Yes. Because Prophet Muhammad was a sign. Messenger told us we the end of all signs. Prophet Muhammad what? Jesus what? So in the Holy Quran, when it's talking about raising up a messenger from among the people, it's talking about the messenger. It ain't talking about Prophet Muhammad. It's talking about us right here, right now. Messenger talks about Elijah. He said, I'm Elijah. He said the whole of the Bible is talking about the coming of the Son of Man. All of that. Talking about the black man. That's why the messenger. He said, I'm so sure of what I teach you. He said, I challenge the world of science that if you can prove one word that I teach that's wrong, I give you $10,000 out my brother's vest pocket for every word. Black man ain't never seen a leader like that. To tell you I know I'm right. Not only do I know I'm right, I give any, he even told the people in the crowd. He said, if you can't challenge me, go get who you think can challenge me and bring him here.
That's right.
And I give him $10,000 out my brother's vest pocket for one word. So why wouldn't a black man believe that Master Farad Muhammad is God? What else are we waiting to see? That's one thing I was reading in the Holy Quran. It was talking about the battle of Uhud. That was really something. They were talking about how the Muslims had lost this battle. They were saying how the Muslims started celebrating too fast. Then Allah said he wanted to see the hypocrites and the believers. Because it was talking about how Allah can cause you to win or he can allow you to lose. It's all up to him. It's what he pleases. But it talks about in this battle, it said Allah wanted to see the hypocrites and the believers. What you gonna do? What you gonna say? Just like today. Allah want to see the hypocrites and the believers. What you gonna do? Now the messenger go. Now the messenger's name is mud. What you gonna do? You still gonna be talking all that talk you was talking when there was hundreds of thousands of followers. Because now you can see who the believers and who the hypocrites is.
Yes.
Because a believer gonna do the same thing whether it's hundreds of thousands or where it's just them by themselves. But a hypocrite is somebody who say with their mouth what they don't believe with their heart. So that's why a lot of times it says in the Holy Quran, if things happens as Allah pleases. Right. It's as he pleases. Yes. Sometimes you can win, but he lets you lose. Just to see the hypocrites and the believers. Because a believer gonna believe no matter what. That's right. A hypocrite gonna make an excuse. Because it talks about in this battle The hypocrites was talking about if them believers would have just left with us, they wouldn't have died. That's what a hypocrite gonna say.
That's right.
A believer ain't gonna say that. A believer gonna fight another day.
Yes.
That's what a believer gonna do. But the hypocrite, just like today, because I always talk about these bus stops. The messenger, the one who taught us God is a black man. We got this sister, which I don't even really be mad at the Christian preachers too much, because they don't disrespect the message. Everybody's stealing from the message. We might as well just, everybody's stealing from everybody. And 50 million black people in America stealing from the message. If you calling yourself black, you got that from the message. If you talking about you a vegan, you got that from the message. If you talking about doing for self, you got that from the message. So the thing ain't all the time who's stealing. It's this disrespect stuff.
Right.
Because now, this sister, her name is Reverend Dr. Ebony Marshall. She's saying God is black. She ain't disrespecting the mess. She ain't talking about him. She ain't giving him no credit. But she ain't disrespecting him. Then you got Bus Stop Bishop. They talking about God is a black. God is black. Then you got Bus Stop Bishop. He talking about intense interview with Bishop Nathaniel. Who is IUIC, Children of Israel, and is God black? Just like the messenger asked questions, who is the original man? Now he acting like he teaching the black man. So now Allah saying, who the hypocrites and who the believers? What you gonna say? You ain't gonna say nothing? You gonna sit back and let somebody take the teaching of the man? Let's give you an example of when the messenger was alive. When he had hundreds of thousands of followers. How did Muslims react to the messenger? This comes from the St. Louis Argus. It's August 31st, 1962. It says Malcolm X replies to Reverend Reese criticism. Because when you go to this article, this preacher dogging the messenger. He talking about ain't no way all of this stuff come from me. He ain't smart enough to do all of this. It had to be somebody else who came in after he started it and helped him to do. Ain't no way no Elijah Muhammad is smart enough to do it. He was like, Malcolm X is really the brains behind this. Now this was when the messenger was alive. This was when Muslims all praise and due to Allah for the honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's what Muslims were saying then. So let's listen to how Malcolm X responds to this preacher. He says, my relationship with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is like that of a wooden dummy. I'm just a puppet, a parrot, and I proudly admit this. But God has blessed me to have sense enough to know that as long as I am sitting on the lap of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and he's holding me in his arms, I'll be speaking with a man's voice. Yes, I'll speak like a man and act like a man and continue to make religious crooks like yourself expose your greed and ignorance for the entire Negro community to see. This is how Muslims used to respond when the messenger was being attacked. Now, this person trying to hype up Malcolm. He's trying to put a rosy, as the message say, put a rosy in his hand. But this was when Malcolm was a follower of the message. Ain't no rosy you putting in my hand. You put the rosy in his hand. He the one who taught me. So let's go on with what he said. He said, since I've been ministering under the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, God has blessed me to lecture at most of the leading universities in this country, from Harvard to UCLA, and God has also blessed me to see the leading scholars, professors, and intellectuals, both white and black, fall back in defeat like the proud magicians of Pharaoh were also defeated before Moses, despite the fact that I never went higher in the devil's schools than the 8th grade. This Malcolm X, I'm just a dummy. I don't know nothing. But as long as I'm being a dummy, I sit on the lap of the message. God has blessed me to go to some of the top universities in this country and defeat scholars and professors from what the messenger taught. Then he goes on to say, he says, everything I know above the 8th grade level, I learned from Mr. Muhammad. It is actually his teachings to me that have defeated these opponents of truth. It defeated you. I whip you with Mr. Muhammad's gospel. Like Aaron in the Bible. I'm only casting before the intellectuals of today the rod of truth that Mr. Muhammad, this modern Moses, has given to me. Why don't nobody talk to old bus stop bishop like that? The messenger told us that the black man or that God is a black man.
Right.
You were somewhere with your knees shaking, with snot running out your nose because you thought the white man was coming.
Right.
Most of these scared bootlicking niggas was somewhere hiding because they thought the white man was coming. But the message, God's message, God, our God, Master Farad Muhammad, sent the Honorable Elijah Muhammad before the white man like he sent Moses to Pharaoh.
That's right.
With nothing but a rod. Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that rod was nothing but the truth.
That's right.
That's why he taught us we don't carry as much as a penknife. He said we depend solely on Allah.
Right.
So when all these scared niggas like Bishop Nathan was watching the messenger beat up on the devil, then when the messenger get tired of beat, he'll take somebody else from prison. With 8th grade, you go beat up on this devil.
Right.
Messenger said, when I get through with you, you will be able to tie the devil around your pinky finger. So these scared niggas sitting back getting jealous, watching the messenger beat up on the devil. So when the messenger died in 1975, everybody come out the woodworks. You had Wallace trying to call the black man Bilalians. Then you had this hypocrite, this old senile hypocrite, Louis Eugene. We ain't got no love for hypocrites.
That's right.
Messenger taught us Allah hates the hypocrites. He ain't teach us to love. He said a hypocrite is the most hated among the people. So now we got this old senile hypocrite, Louis Eugene Walcott. When you talk about him, the messenger said that in the Holy Quran, it talks about the hypocrite being in the lowest depths of the flame. He said that's not a literal flame. He said that the hypocrite grieves in their heart. And that grief is so strong that the Holy Quran describes it as a flame. He said one of the things that hypocrites hate is that they don't want to be exposed as the hypocrites they are. So when we talk about this old senile hypocrite, we want to be some kerosene for his heart. We don't want to be gasoline. Gasoline don't burn as hot as kerosene burn. I want to be kerosene for that hypocrite. That's all we can be for him. I want to be kerosene for Allah's flame for this old senile hypocrite. He is jealous of the message.
Yes.
I was listening to this week in my closing. It was this brother named Wesley Muhammad. He one of Farrakhan's people. He was talking about this old senile hypocrite. Text him Or he said he got a text from this hypocrite's office. He talking about this hypocrite talking about we need to correct the language of point number 12. That's what he talking about now. Point number 12 talking about the coming of Master Farad Muhammad. But he say we got to correct that language. So this old senile hypocrite be just sitting in the house thinking of ways to add confusion to the teachings of the message. This hypocrite is the one. He adds his own confusion. This hypocrite sit around and say, I know that the messenger knew how to say Farad. I know he knew it. But he always would say it wrong. That's a hypocrite.
Yes.
Messengers say hypocrites are not satisfied with what the messenger taught. He ain't satisfied with point number 12. He ain't satisfied with just saying Farad. He want to talk like they're Muslim. So the messenger told Muslims. He said, strive hard against the hypocrite and the disbelievers.
Yes, sir.
But Allah say, I want to see the hypocrites and the believers now. What you gonna do? You gonna still go to Mosque Mariam to have brotherhood with this hypocrite, or you gonna talk about this hypocrite? You want to be kerosene for his heart, or you want to be his friend? The believers want to be kerosene. I wish that hypocrite hear me at least one lecture. I wish that hypocrite know his believers who hate you. We feel just about you like you wrote about Malcolm X. We feel that same way about you.
That's right.
But we live in a different time now. So all we can be is kerosene for this hypocrite. Continue to remind the world he a hypocrite.
Right.
When this hypocrite die, we ain't gonna be talking about may Allah be pleased with him. We know Allah hates this hypocrite.
That's right.
So we still gonna be talking about this hypocrite like he's still alive.
Yes, yes, sir.
Just like the Bible reminds us about Absalom.
Yes.
It reminds us about Kor. It reminds us about Judas.
Yes.
The believers gonna remind everybody about this old no good senile hypocrite Louis Eugene Walcott. Never let the world. He was a hypocrite.
Yes.
It's because of him that these weak, coward Muslims just sit. In my conclusion, I don't know what I was so upset when I listened to that brother from IUIC talking about what this hypocrite people said about me. I'm some imposter Muslim. These fakes disrespected, they got a video this week called it Talking Against the Message. But this hypocrite Louis Eugene talking about I'm an imposter, a believer. Messengers say that's what hypocrites do.
That's right.
They build mosques to sow dissension between the believers. And they are a shelter for the enemies of Islam. So I just got to keep it real. I want to be kerosene for this hypocrite.
Yes.
I want to be with other Muslims that hate him, that want to be kerosene. Because the more kerosene you pour on this hypocrite's heart, the harder it's going to burn. Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong time. So I leave you as I came in the nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful, sole master's day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, and thee alone beseech for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors. not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is there to be served worth to praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. I mean, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.